still feeling the after effects of that dream. And the reason I say we're still feeling the after effects of that dream because he had an assignment. And his assignment was to be obedient to his dreams and tell his brothers and sisters and his family, like, hey, this is the dream I had, and this is what it was saying. But and his family members, they was kind of, like, hold man, you dissing us. You telling us that, you the baby boy. How you as the baby boy gonna tell us that we're gonna bow down to you? But if you notice in the Bible, most of the babies in the Bible are the ones that end up being the ones shepherding the family on to the higher, to the promised land. Amen. Because they are the embodiment of everything that the other people in the family, what they had to give. So everything that they got wrong and got right, the baby boy or whatever was the one to absorb all that and take it to the next level. So now for me, it was 4 parts of the assignment from the Most High. The one is the assignment itself, and then the gift that will help you fulfill your assignment, and being obedient to that assignment or being disobedient to that assignment. Now the Most High also gave Christians the Great Commission, which I will get into that later, and the Great Commandment. But as far as Joseph, his case, his assignment was to rule over his family members, and his gift was the interpretation of dreams. So Joseph, when he started interpreting the dreams, and the reason seemed like it was kind of it was so far-fetched, was because, like I said, he was dreaming on a level that was higher than they understand. Amen. So what he did was, it made me go back, okay, what's all these gifts, because the gifts is what's going to bring everybody into their assignment. And now the Bible has spiritual gifts, and in 1 Corinthians 12 through 8 through 10, it's 9 gifts. Even though the gifts are in different parts of the Bible, but this particular Bible verse has all the gifts in one. And it said the first gift is the spirit of the word of wisdom, and then the word of knowledge, and then another was the spirit of gifts of healing, which Pastor talked about earlier, and then the gifts of working miracles, the gifts of prophecies, the gifts of discernment, the gift of diverse tongues, and the gift of interpreting tongues. Now, a lot of people, everybody don't get those gifts. First of all, let's get some understanding. Everybody don't get those gifts. It's a gift. But what people do get, we get natural gifts. Some people can cook. Some people are good with kids. Some people can help the homeless. Some people do different things that's natural that can help them help other people. Like Pastor said, if you bless me, you'll bless somebody else. So if I'm getting blessed, it's my duty to bless somebody else. So as far as the dream that Joseph had, what made this dream so unique was that the dreams were the sun and the moons and the stars, and the bow down relationship to the sovereignty of God that God gave to Jacob or Israel his wife. So that is the root of Israel. That meaning that when when Yahweh, sometimes I speak in Hebrew, so don't get it twisted. That's just what I do sometimes. And matter of fact, in order to understand that, like Pastor said earlier, this book is more than just a blueprint. It's more than just a doctrine to how to get right. This is also our DNA. This is also our heritage. So when you see or hear me say anything, it's about our Hebrew heritage and who we are in the Bible. Now, I employ anything to all you. If you think I'm lying, just go and read it for yourself. Ask God to show you, and then you'll see why we're so feared across this planet. We are the people of this Bible. Okay, so when they got back to it, and Joshua, it says, okay, we're the root, and the symbols had 2 things. The symbols were saying that everything in heaven is what we're prophesizing here. It's what we're going to be. And so he was saying that in the Bible, in Genesis, he told us, like, he said, we are the stars. Me and your mother, we the stars, we the sun and the moon, and your brothers, y'all, they the stars. So you want us to bow down to you? You just, you're a baby star. You're not no noble. You're not nothing special. So he was like, no, that's what the book said. And then also the woman, which represents the church. So for him to say that all y'all gonna bow down before me, he was telling them, basically saying that all of mankind, including the church, is gonna bow down before me. But what they didn't realize is that Joseph, when he was telling the story, he didn't realize that how much trouble he was gonna get into for being obedient. So his brothers, they got mad at him and they put him into slavery. And the ironic thing about it was, the one brother, Reuben, they all wanted to kill him. And his other brother, Judah, like Pastor said, what's in the name? Your name means everything. Judah was was the fourth tribe. Different tribes were there. His thing was praise and worship. So it was his job as a praise and worship. Like, hold a minute, man. You know, because he knew the sayings behind the suns, the moons, and all that. None of the other brothers did. He did. He knew. So he was like, no, we can't kill him because he's actually what he's saying got a little truth to it. So let's sell him. So let's go sell him to the Ishmaelites. And the Ishmaelites were actually their cousins through Abraham, because Abraham had two sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Mm-hmm. And his other brother Ishmaelites was what we consider Muslims now. But those were his brothers, those were their cousins. So they're going to basically sell their brother to their cousins as slaves. But some other parts of their family tree came, got him out the pit, and they sold him. So for 2 years, he sat in the dungeon, and for 13 years, before he even fulfilled who he was supposed to be, he was just lost. And now his family members was like, oh man, you know, where he at? You know, we was going, they had to change of heart. They wanted to go get him, but in the midst of the change of heart, it was like, hold a minute, you gone, what you gonna tell Pop? So they went back, ripped off his colors, you know, the Technicolor coat and coat of many colors. They ripped it up, put ghost blood and all that stuff on it to try to make it seem like an animal got him and killed him. So the father just wept and wept and wept forever until he wept for like about 13, 14 years. And then so fast forward, while he was in Egypt, he ended up having more and more dreams. So now that was his gift. So his gift was to interpret these dreams. So when the Pharaoh had a dream, he interpreted the dream and said, man, you're going to have 7 years of good weather and good food, and 7 years of bad weather and bad food. It's going to be a drought. And everybody know how it is when it's a drought outside. You know what I'm saying? When it's a drought, it's dry. You know, everybody cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? So they came to Egypt like, we need some help. So they went back to Egypt. Now I told you at first, he said that y'all gonna bow down to me. So the first part of his dream was starting to come true. So when they came to him, they looked at his brother, they didn't know who he was. They thought he was an Egyptian. The first that you know, the Egyptians and the Hebrews was interchangeable. The Egyptians, Hebrews, and Ethiopians, everybody, they was all dark skinned like us. So if you saw me dressed a different way, you assume, oh, that's an Egyptian. Yeah, because he dressed like one. So he told him like, no, y'all stealing from me. So I'm gonna keep your little younger brother here. Y'all go back and get your daddy and come on back. So now they're afraid because they're like, oh man, we done messed up the superpower. We done stole they think we done stole from them. So now we go back and get Pops. So they went back and got the rest of their family and brought him back to Egypt. And then that's when Joseph identified himself. So when he identified himself, it brought him into the play of where we're now in America. Because when he identified himself, Egypt was overpopulated because they had food. Everybody was coming to Egypt to get more food. So this is part of where you got to know history. And that's one of the things they said, Malcolm X said a long time ago, if you want to have the truth from a black person, put it in the book. I'm not going to read it. So that's what they did. They hid it in the books. So Joseph, he came to America, and it was just discovered maybe about 10 years or so ago, they found another Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh name was, I think Pantoff, something like that, but that was Joseph's Hebrew name, Egyptian name. So they found in the Grand Canyon and in southern Illinois, they found caves with monoliths of Joseph here in America. So years later, when his generations after they got in Egypt, which was Moses' time period, when they came along and said, hey, if you don't do right, we're going to send you to another Egypt and slave ship. Other Egypt they was talking about, there's only one group of people on the planet Earth who went in the bow of a slave ship to become slaves. That was us. Even though every black person in America is not from Africa, but that's where that particular tribe came from, the tribe of Judah and Benjamites. So what they did was, he said, hey man, you know, I own America. That's me. I claimed that for the Pharaoh. So that's what made him such a big, high-profile person in Egypt. When he came and found this plush land and was able to cultivate it for a few years, got more grain, and went back to Egypt. But after several generations, the pharaohs that came after that, the invading army pharaohs, they know nothing about Joseph. They came from another part of the world. So now the Israelites, they started outnumbering the Egyptians. So they said, we got to get rid of them. We got to kill them. But once again, Joseph being obedient to the word, certain avenues were put into place. And one of the avenues that was put into place was, like he said at first, the stars, the moon, and the stars. Yeah, the sun, the moon, and the stars. So when they went forward with that, his whole thought process was, how are we going to take our people and get them to the next level of understanding? So what he did was, when his brothers and sisters, when they all faded away, they went back to the real word. And then, like I said, Judah, it's ironic that when Judah sold his brothers them to the Ishmaelites, generations later, the Ishmaelites would sell the Judeans to the Europeans to put us into slavery here. So the seed was already set for us to become slaves, but at the same time, that seed was set to spread God's word. And once again, his word was going to be spread, because we say, I'm going to disperse y'all to the four corners of the earth. And every time we would be in bondage somewhere, the most time he heard from us, when we would all crowd as one group of people. When we cried out in Syria, he saved us. When they cried out in Egypt, they saved us. When they cried out now, when we cried out in America, what did he do? He saved us. But now we had another 400 years, and they got the hashtag right now, hashtag 400 years is over. That's why the world is, and all the politics, everything that's going on is kind of getting out of hand. And for y'all need to understand this also as well, that right now, there's a man named Byron Williams. Is it Byron Williams? He owns the Weather Channel. Right now, they got a lawsuit against suing Comcast. Comcast got a lawsuit against them to try to repeal the Civil Rights Law of 1866. And the Civil Rights Law of 1866 is basically saying that we, as black people, won't have the free commerce to buy anymore, to go ahead and get money on the same level as a white person. Even though we all know now it's still not happening, but once they get rid of that law, because they got 30 minutes of arguing from the Congress in front of the Supreme Court. 20 of them minutes is going to be argued by Donald Trump's Department of Justice. So now you got 20 minutes, these people arguing against to repeal the law of saying who we are. And they always say, oh, they try to get rid of the mess, they try to get rid of that, but they get rid of us with a spike of opinion. So pay attention to what's going on right now, and that's what they're doing. And like I said, everything that happened back then was a precursor to what's going to happen now. Because if you look at the America and the dollar bill, everything that was Egypt, about Egypt, with the obelisk and the all-seeing eye and the eagle, the way Washington, D.C. is made, Egypt and Indianapolis, Indiana, it's a perfect triangle. If you go, you're a Mason, if you go from point to point, it's the whole point, and it's covered right by, and right matter of fact, it's right across from the Scottish Rite Mason Hall. So they're showing you on the global map at 33 degrees from here to there and back, is showing the connection between Egypt, America, and Indianapolis, since this is supposed to be the crossroads of America. So let me get back to this. So after all that was said and done, Joseph, his name is like, so his assignment was so profound that we as a people are still going through his assignment. But it was so beautiful, because if it wasn't for his assignment and him knowing who he was, we would not be here spreading the word of God. And then Pastor said, what's in the name? Your people know you by your name. When I was going through my thing and I was trying to, find myself, I asked the Most High, I said, who am I? What's my name? I said, Willie, that's my name, whatever. Everybody called me Chill Will, but who am I to you? And he was like, you're EELDER ben Solomon Yahuda. So I'm like, okay, EELDER. I knew what El meant, because I'm from Gary, I knew what El Rickers means, Almighty, so I knew what that meant. But I was like, okay, what does this other stuff mean? So I was at Ivy Tech, and one of my classmates, he was an old white Jewish dude, but I didn't know it. So I went out, but because of the way I taught, a lot of my white classmates thought I was Muslim. So we was out eating in the assignment, and the Muslim, the young white kids was like, it's pork here, so you can probably order the chicken. I said, well, no, it's cool, I don't eat pork though, but I appreciate it. So we didn't want to offend you, we know you're Muslim. I said, well, I'm not Muslim, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. So they was like, oh, you're a Hebrew Israelite, what does that mean? So I told them a little bit. They were still like, oh, okay, they progressive white people. So they were trying to figure out, oh, okay, that's awesome, that's awesome. And they was like, so what's your Hebrew name? So when I told them, at the time, man, I didn't know what it meant. That's just what God told me. But the old Jewish guy just kept looking at me and smiled, and he like, and he broke down what my name meant to me, what it meant. He said, Eli, that's you are watching on the wall. Like Elijah, you're a watchman. It's your job to see what's going on, to warn your people. That's part of your assignment. And El was almighty, and being is son of. And then Solomon that was the wisest man, but if you don't use your gift, you don't be obedient to your gift, you do just like Solomon did, how Solomon ended up messing over his gift, and he started wedding outside of, I don't want to say religion, but wedding outside of their common ground, and ended up split the nation up. Half, 2 of the tribes went to the southern kingdom, and the other 10 tribes went up north and ended up going to slavery for 400 years. So, but even with that, they still, after slavery, after they got set loose by, was it Darius that set them loose? King Darius? Cyrus, king, that was Darius' dad, right? Yeah, but Cyrus set them free. When they set them free, everybody said, what happened to them other 10, what happened to them other 10 tribes? They just disappeared. They didn't disappear, they got on them ships and came to America. That's how Christopher Columbus was able to find the ships, because he used the same maps they used and came to Puerto Rico, which in Spanish was Puerto Riches. And he said they was like Indians, talking about the Indians that was in the Middle East, not the Mongolian Indians, but the Indians that were Indians. So that's why we have the skin tone that we do. That's why they got copper colors, they copper color, and they speak in old ancient Hebrew. That's why when you see the Indians, they start going, ha ya ya ya, ha ya ya ya. They were saying hallelujah. But because of the European dialect and couldn't bring it out properly, they said the wrong way. And today we make fun of on movies and stuff like that, the Indians going around the totem pole. If you look at it, look just like an Egyptian, the writings on the wall in Egypt. You just look at it from head to toe, the same thing. That's because, once again, when Joseph was here, he set the foundation. They still followed that same practice because they didn't know Jesus yet. They knew he was supposed to come, but all they knew was still from out of Egypt. They still knew Yah, and they still had Egypt in it. Okay. So when they got back to them, he's like, man, you're supposed to be a watchman on the wall, and you're supposed to do, this, and that, whatever. So I'm like, okay, so that's what it means. And then, so when it came back around to the brothers, the 12 brothers, like Reuben, his name was, he was the first. Simon was the aggressor. Levi was the cleric, and Judah was the leader. And we all know in America and around the world, when we as black people in America do something, the whole world follows suit. Regardless of what their religion is, regardless of what their nationality is, they follow suit with what we do. Because that's our job. We've always been leaders. But we just don't follow the leadership that we was set forth before us. Okay, let me get back to the other part. I had like about 18, 19 pages, but Pastor was always saying, well, you're giving too much. So I'm gonna try to, sum this up real quick. Okay. And you see, I wrote a straight up little young book here.
Do your thing.
Okay. I'll keep going, okay. No, I can say it. Okay. Now, the thing is, we got to discover our own path. Like Pastor said, sometimes your girls will look at you like, that child is like a such and such. But the thing is, what is your assignment? Did God give you any of them 9 gifts? And if He didn't, don't trip. It's all good. Because He gave you natural gifts. And those natural gifts He gave you, you can take those gifts, you either do right with it or you can do wrong with it. For me, I've always been kind of a leader, a spokesperson, or a person that's always been down for my friends. I did the wrong thing. I went the other way with it. I perverted God's word with it. When I was 17, I want to manifest for our projects based off the being a Hebrew Israelite. But it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wrote all types of different things, but at the same time, coming back to it, now it's like, this is what you should have been all the time. But I fought against it. And the thing, when you fight against your assignment, God gonna take you through hell. Hell and hot water. So you can fight against like one, especially when you start finding out you're supposed to do something different and you don't do it, or He's gonna take you through it. And by the time you come out of it, unfortunately, some people they come out of it on their death and they on their way out of here. Then it might be too late, but then you'll be a cautionary tale like that boy had all the gifts in the world, he could have done anything he wanted to do, but he chose to do this. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that cautionary tale. You want to be the tale like Pastor said, unfortunately for me, if you haven't been through anything, you really can't tell me too much. I'm sorry. I will accept what you're saying, but if you haven't been through any hardship, it's like, how can you help me go through something if you haven't been through nothing? You know, what did God give you? What did he tell you? Now, I'm going to be respectful and listen to you, but if I get to talking to you about something that you haven't been through, and then you try to give me some sugar-coated or watered-down response, right. From that point, I ain't listening to you no more. So it's at that point, it's like, that's why I got to be around like-minded people who is like, regardless of what your nationality is, if you've been through something, we can talk. And if you came out of what you've been through, then you really can talk, because now we can take our conversations and help somebody else who's going through the same thing we're going through.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Now, when I told you at the beginning, there was the Great Commandment, the Great Commission, and that's when Jesus said, go out there and make disciples of men. Go out there and baptize everybody in my name. Go out there and save people. That was the Great Commission. Because without the Great Commission, we have nothing. Because Yahshua, he came down to save us from the sins. And then he also said the other part was the covenant that he made, my commandment. And he said, my commandment is that you love one another as I have loved you. So he basically saying that I loved you, you know, unadulterated, I loved you with no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. I love you so much that I gave my only begotten son. Now that was his assignment, and that's not love that part, because his assignment was threefold. When he came down, he said, so God, this is John 3:16. So God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Now that's one of the greatest known, easy, that's the first they teaching you in school. So God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. You go to Sunday, that's the first they teach you. As soon as you can repeat what they were saying. But the magnitude in which they was teaching that, they didn't teach you what it truly meant, and the assignment in that. The Most High, Yahweh, he had an assignment that he had to give himself up as the Son of Man and come down and teach us to save mankind. And that's Yahshua, which is the breath. That's what Yahshua means, the breath of God. So that means, like I said, when you see the Father, you see me, that was that breath. So that's why we say Yahshua is coming from your gut. And everything that has breath, praise me. So when you praise me, you say Yahshua, that's that breath coming from out here. It ain't coming from your throat, it's coming from your gut. And then so he said his assignment was to show us how to live a holy life free from sin and be a living sacrifice. And then mankind's assignment was to accept Yahshua as our Lord and Savior so that we can have eternal life. So that one Bible verse is breaking down the universal assignment, gift, and commitment. You see what I'm saying? So when you read that, don't just read it like, oh, it's just something I'm going to read, just going through the motions. No, that's something that's so profound and so powerful, but people don't really tell you exactly how he was doing it and what he was truly doing with it. So he was saying that I'm going to come down in the flesh because y'all messing up. Y'all messing the laws up. Y'all selling them rotten meat to do on the Sabbath. Y'all in the storehouse, we got the bake sale going on today. We're going to make a bake sale, but we're going to take half the money and we're going to go kick it at the you know what I'm saying, which is cool. I wish I could win me about $1 million right now. I'll break the church off, probably, we'll be all right, but at the same time, I got bills. You know what I'm saying? So what he was doing was, he was saying, no, I want y'all to do it like this. I want y'all to get understanding of how profound what I was saying about the assignment. And because Joseph, because he did what he did, that assignment generations down the line when Yahshua came, because you got the 12, the kingdom was broken apart. You got Benjamin and Judea going through hell with the Romans, and then you got everybody wondering, like, what happened to the other 10 tribes? They just disappeared. But now they over here in what they call Turtle Island, which is America and the Caribbean. They living, they chilling. And then you got the Spaniards come through, you got Columbus come through, and they looking like, man, these dudes, they don't got no weapons. They pray, they come smiling. We can take over. We can take this from now. So he take about 10 or 15 of them, take them back to Spain. Because at that same time, they said 1492, sailed the ocean blue. The reason that they dipped from there, because the whole world was at war. All of Central Africa was at war, they was beefing. All of the Middle East was beefing, and all of Europe was beefing. So during that same time period, the Moors in Spain had just got conquered by the Spaniards, the white Spaniards, and then the Hebrews that was in Europe was on the verge of losing to the white Europeans, which they had the war, the Canterbury Tales and the War of the Roses. All those different wars was wars where we ended up losing we ended up losing our battles. And in the midst of us losing our battles, it was like, okay, we here in America, but we losing everything. They call it the Dark Ages, 1,000 years of Dark Ages. When in reality, them 1,000 years was 1,000 years of peace. But in 1492, everybody started beefing again. All the kings in Africa, they started looking at the Hebrews that had left Roman prosecution and came down into Senegal, Congo, and all Western Africa. They was running from persecution. Right. So everybody was beefing. So now they're like, we got to find some place where it's safe for us to go because we need money. The money for us, first of all. So Christopher Columbus, he tried to make like he discovered something. He was lost. And he landed in Puerto Rico. And like I said, Puerto Rico means Port of Riches. He was walking around and the little kids was having diamonds in their hands, had gold on. They dressed up in the headgear just like they was in Egypt, but now that, they blinged out. But it don't mean nothing to them because it's so pitiful. And in the Judean tradition, the Hebrew tradition, all the tribes of the priests always had all 12 tribes on their chest, all the precious metals. That's what we like gold and stuff now. That's why we always blinged out now, because that's part of who we was. So when they saw that, they look like they don't value that, because that didn't have no value. What had value was our connection to God. What had value was our assignment. What had value was our commitment. What had value was us being obedient. So them gold, them trinkets, that's what it was, trinkets. So when they came, took them back to Europe, said, man, we need to go there. And then the Russians on. They bypassed Africa and came to South America when they saw the Aztecs and the Mayans who were black, the Olmecs. Then they went up to North America and stuff. I was like, man, they everywhere. They just everywhere. How they get here? And for those who've been in the military, when you go travel a lot of other places overseas, you see a lot of black people that was originally there forever. But they still got transferred around to the slave trade because it wasn't a North Atlantic slave. Excuse me, I'm getting excited. It wasn't a North Atlantic slave trade. It was a North Atlantic trade. That's what happened. But we, as being the people that we always came with peace. We all like, man, I don't want to fight, but if I have to, I will. I don't want to fight you. I want to have peace. I'd rather pray with you. So that's why when they introduced their form of Christianity, we already knew it. We was already singing to the Jordan River. They didn't have to teach us to sing about the Jordan. We knew what the Jordan was because we came from the Jordan. They knew about getting dipped 7 times in the Jordan River. That was part of their inheritance. So when they were doing everything they were doing, it goes, like I said, Joseph, and him being obedient to the word, it just transpires through the whole generation, even to this day. All the way from Russia, because a lot of black, what they call black Russian Jews, what they call black Jews, Ireland, kiss me, I'm Irish, they about to tell the joke, but Ireland, that's why I grew right now. The king and queen of England have Scotland and Ireland up under their thumb because King James was a Hebrew and his father was the king of Scotland and Ireland. So when he became the king, he was in charge of that, but he lost the kingship to what you call now the Duke of Earl, which is what's their name over there in Europe now? The king and queen of England, the Wales. Queen Elizabeth and her family, and her generations, when they lost their wars, they just basically took over their titles. Like Patrick said, number of titles. They took the titles over and kicked them to the curb. So Joseph, what he did was he was very obedient to the word. And unfortunately, a lot of our saints, they weren't obedient to the word. You can go back to Adam and Eve. When they had their assignment, they only had 2 or 3 things to do: tend to the garden, name all the animals, and don't eat from their tree. What the first thing they do? Take a look at this. Don't look good. He told us that if we ate this, we'd know everything. Him being weak, he ate it. Because, but they got other books that said, after he complained, like, you gave me this woman. Woe is me, you gave me this woman. Nah, you ate it. When you supposed to be protecting her, she come from you. like my cousin husband's wife now? This not his meaning. Ain't no way you can't come over here and try to holler at man. Back on up. I got this. You see what I'm saying? And that's just how it goes. So even with when it came down to Noah, well, even before Noah, Abraham, when Abram, God told him, get away from them. Get you away from them, which was his own family. So he got away from his family from out of Earth and went trying to find, his own land. And he ran to Melchizedek. Melchizedek was the prototype of who Yahshua is. He was Yahshua then, and Yahshua was Jesus himself now. And he taught him like, man, I'm gonna break bread with you and teach you how to tithe. I'm gonna teach you how to do this, I'm gonna teach you how to do that. Abraham, he followed his commandments, and because he followed his assignment, he said, I'm gonna make you a father of many nations. You have faith, I'm gonna make you a father of many nations. And then so you had, who gonna go to next? You had Gideon. Gideon, he was the lowest person in his tribe. But when the time to go to war, he was like, man, we don't got nobody. We short-handed. Everybody else eat. Why you come to me? But the Most High said, no, look, dude, I need to use you. So you go find you some strong men, somebody who's going to be willing to get down and dirty with what we got to do. So he went, had a few trial tests, this, and that, whatever. And by the way, say first, everybody was scared to go home. Everybody like, man, I'm gone. They started dipping. Then after that, he's like, okay, have them drink out the water, out the ground. Whoever got to drink, you got animals maybe in the water hole and the alligators in the water, and then you got the lions right there. They looking like they trying to eat like drink like this, like they scared. But other ones that just got their head down drinking, like, man, you know what? What's gonna happen? What had happened? I'm about to face when it happens. Them the ones that kept. And then you go further on to Noah. Getting Noah before Gideon. But Noah was obedient. Noah was like, hey Noah, it's in the rain, man. Noah stuttered. So he tried to tell him, like, what you doing? I don't make fun. But he was stuttering. And so you can imagine his kids listening to him like, yep, Pop's tripping. But he said we gotta do this. So let's go. We gotta build this. And all the people out there like, boy, look at that fool. First he albino, which that's why he called it by himself, he's albino. Now he off to the cut, yeah, cuz just look it up. He's albino, so he off to himself. And he got a wife, and she's looking at him like, you already albino. You know what I'm saying? So now you talking about God gonna kill everybody. Now I got to follow you. I'm gonna be obedient. So they made it, and they did it. So Adam's thing was name everything creation. His job was to save everything creation. So he said anything that wasn't corrupted, and you go fast forward, and now you got King David. What's your assignment, David? No, Saul. I like Saul. Saul, what's your assignment? We all want a king. We're going to point y'all Saul in. So all you got to do is don't mess with the heathen stuff. Don't take their stuff. Keep just do that. Get it, kill it, burn it. I'm trying to get rid of all that. What they do. Like, man, you see that watch? You see that ring on